Hey there, welcome to October 2025. Let the shadow season begin. It's time again. Oh my gosh, how fast that came around. October is going to be ushering in a one universal month. And with that brings a fresh breeze of fresh air, right? It's all about new beginnings. But there's more going on beneath the surface that we need to talk about. October also marks the start of what I call the shadow season. Some of you may have heard me talk about it before. So, what does that even mean? Well, from now until the end of December, we're going to be living in a blended energy of both this year's energy and next year's energy. And that relates to not just the universal energy, okay, of 2025 being a nine universal year, it's that, but it's also about your personal energy, whatever your personal year is that you're in right now. You've got one foot in one door, you got one foot in the other door. So we are still feeling the weight of 2025's nine universal year. We know that that's been about, oh my gosh, releasing, letting go, forgiving, forgetting, moving on, all of it. That's a big year this year, right? Just releasing a lot of baggage. But we're also beginning to sense the energy of 2026 as one universal year. I don't know about you, but I am ready for it. That's the year of new starts and bold new beginnings. But we still have junk in the trunk, right? We still have to make sure that our trunk is squeaky clean and empty before we actually shift into 2026's new beginning energy. So it's kind of like standing with one foot in the past and one foot in the future. That's kind of where we're at right now. That's what I call the shadow season. So if you're feeling, maybe a little bit restless, maybe feeling really inspired, or maybe torn between tying up loose ends and chasing new ideas, you're not alone. You're right on target, right? You're right on time. So that's the energy of the shadow season. So how is this shift going to affect you personally? We gotta, it's all about you, right? So we gotta figure that out. So the universal year of nine, which is 2025, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 equals 9. That's the umbrella influence. We are all under that influence right now. Now, don't get me wrong, it's hugely important, but you don't feel it quite as much as your personal year. It definitely has an influence, and Lord knows we sure have been influenced by our share of endings and releasings and things shaking up this year. But I want you to take a look at how you may be feeling in October in a one universal month in a nine universal year. Okay. But first of all, we've got to calculate your personal year. So how do you do that? Well, you're going to add your birth month plus your birthday to the current year. Okay. So and then reduce that to a single digit. So, for example, my birth date is March, which is a 3, 25th day, plus 2, plus 5, and then we add it to 2025, plus 2, plus 0, plus 2, plus 5. We add all that up together, and we come up with 19. 1 and 9 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. So I know that in this year, I am in a one personal year. So I want you to note that the energy that you're in, your personal year energy, is active all year long, but you really start to feel its fullest expression starting in April. Okay, so let's recap that for a second. January 1st, you get a full cup of whatever your personal year is, right? So for every day that goes by, you get influenced by the energy of your personal year. In my case, it's a 1, right? So I get this little blast of 1 energy every day for the whole year. Now, when we come to October, we start, the cup's almost empty, right? And so we're making room for the energy of the next coming year. In my case, it's a 2, right? So now I've got a foot in the 1 door, I've got a foot in the 2 door, right? So I'm kind of vacillating between both places. So we go into January. Now, boom, in my case, I move into a 2 personal year, okay? But that doesn't really come into play 100% until we get to the 1st of April, right? We have that other side of the shadow. We have a shadow from October to December, and we have one from January to the end of March. Okay, so in January of 2026, I'm still going to have one foot back here in 2025, my one personal year, but I will also have one foot in 2026, which is my 2 personal year. I hope that makes sense, okay? So, October's number one vibe and your personal year. Let's take a look at that. So, if you happen to be in a personal year of 1, this is going to be double the need for new beginnings. Ideas are bursting, right? They're coming forth. This is a time to start planting seeds. Even small ones count, right? Anything you plant now will be influenced for the next 9 months, right? So when we come into a personal year of two, this is about partnerships. Whereas the year of one was all about, it being all about you and you being number one. Your personal year is about partnerships, and that's the key. But the 1 month says, don't lose yourself in that partnership. Make sure you speak up for yourself. Okay, this isn't just entirely about the relationship. You still have to take advantage of the one vibration of October that says me, right? Even in the relationship. When we come into the personal year of three, creativity, of course, is glowing, right? It's really, really inspiring you right now. You want to share your words of wisdom. You want to share your music, your poetry, your stories, your books, whatever. Do it with courage because the number one, that universal month of one, is about being courageous, being the innovator, being unique, and authentic and creative. If you happen to be in a personal year of four, you've likely been building all year long, very focused, very attention to detail, very work oriented, right? This is about the plan and setting the bricks in place. October is going to nudge you to innovate your routines, make them a little bit different, reinvent your routines, if you will. That's that influence of the one. Personal year five, change is the theme, right? You change it up, shake it up, make it different. It's all good, right? And October is going to hand you a clear next step that you want to follow. It's going to give you the ambition, if you will, to start something new, something fresh, right? The five is about change. So expect to expand yourself a little bit more in a personal year of five in October. So, personal year six is about relationships and the responsibilities you feel towards those relationships. But this month reminds you to still stay centered in what's important to you. Ask yourself that big question, what is my responsibility? What isn't? Am I measuring my worth based on how responsible I can be to my family? Maybe it's time to change that up and be a little bit more focused on you right now. When we come into the year of seven, it's no longer about that responsibility to everybody else. The responsibility is to ourselves because the seven says we're going into our caves, right? Reflection runs deep in a personal year of seven, but October brings a spark to whatever it is you've been learning, to whatever it is you've been thinking about. It's likely going to give you some clarity on whatever you've been kind of concerned about and thinking. Of course, the seven is all about overthinking, right? So just keep an eye on that. When you move into your personal year of eight, this is a leadership month, right? This is about leadership. This is about management. And the moments arrive where you can maybe step into that. So say yes if the opportunity knocks on the door, because this is getting you ready for 2026. But the one universal month of October is supporting you in a new role into leadership. Okay, so if you find the opportunity to step into leadership, do it, right? It's a great month for that. Personal year of nine, if that's where you are, closure is your mantra. Okay, but this month teases the new beginnings that await you later on. Okay, so you're sort of betwixt and between. It's like an oxymoron, right? It's the nine universal year says let it go, right? And the one personal year says let's start something new, and we're in that threshold where we've got one foot in each door, and it can be a little bit confusing. So take some time out and breathe. All right, that's just all I can tell you. Take some time out and breathe. This might be kind of a bit of a confliction for you this month. So looking ahead out of the shadow, the shadow season can feel really confusing, like you're living in two realities all at the same time, right? Something very sci-fi about that, but trust it, trust in the universe. The universal year of nine is doing its final sweep, right? While the one universal year is ready, and it's waiting and it's getting you all geared up to what's coming up next. It's kind of whispering in your ear, hey, this is something you can look at. This is something new for you to do. And you might start feeling a little anxious, a little, let's get up and go kind of feeling. It's okay. It's exactly what's supposed to be happening. So try not to get too frustrated though, because as I say, it is a bit of a contradiction. But by January 1st of 2026, the new cycle fully begins. Okay. So that means your personal year and the universal year will start in full force in January, okay, because you're gonna have a full cup of whatever your personal year is. In my case, a two, right? But the universe is going to flip into a one universal year. So regardless of what personal year you've got going on next year, you're all going to be under the umbrella influence of the one universal year. Okay. I'll create another video on that because it's just too much to tell right now. I don't want to confuse y'all. So just know that in January, the new cycle fully begins. And by April 2026, whatever your personal year is, you're going to be embodying that in full bloom. But for now, I want you to listen closely to both energies. Honor the endings, but don't ignore the sparks of new beginnings showing up now. You're being inspired for a reason. Don't miss those nudges. They are previews of what's going to be happening in 2026. Something new is coming for you. I promise you that. And I know that you can feel it. I absolutely know that you can feel it. If you tap in, you'll feel it. So here's your affirmation for October. I welcome the new with courage and release the old with gratitude. Each breath moves me closer to the life that I'm ready to create. Isn't that beautiful? If you'd like a little bit more clarity on what's closing out in your life and what's waiting to be born, maybe you need to book a soul signature reading. Maybe now's the time. Maybe that's why you're watching this video. Who knows? But together, I know we can map out your cycles so that you can be really prepared for 2026. This is going to be a magical year. Okay, 2026. We only get a one universal year, that umbrella influence of the number one once in a 9-year cycle. Do not miss the opportunity to be informed. You need to be informed right now. Whether it's me, whether it's someone else, whether it's astrology, numerology, I don't care. Go out there, make an appointment, sit down with somebody that you feel comfortable with and talk about what's your plan. You only have 365 days in the year, right? You cannot afford to miss the opportunity to put your best foot forward in 2026. So maybe you already had a reading with me. That's fine. I've got a 45-minute quick clarity call that you might want to choose to do. We can talk about anything. We can talk about a relationship. We can talk about what's happening for you in 2026. We can talk about a work issue. I don't care. It's up to you, right? You can use that time for whatever you like. But for now, I know that you are going to be creating your very best month ever, and I look forward to seeing you really soon. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Bye for now.